And guys, those cable crossover machines cost about $10,000 to $15,000, and I can do almost the identical exercises with $70 worth of bands. Alright guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I have the 7 best band exercise you guys can do for all of us older guys. And it's real simple, guys. We can do this at home, no gym membership needed. Matter of fact, because it's bands only, you don't even need any of those expensive adjustable dumbbells. And another thing I want you guys to realize is that bands not only are cheap, but they're small, they're compact. So for you guys that have to travel a lot, I get it. I used to travel a lot in a previous life. And man, you can stick those bands in your suitcase and you can take them anywhere. So all these exercises I'm going to show you today, you can do when you're traveling on the road in a hotel. Now I got a couple of caveats today that I'm going to be doing with bands simply because I'm in my garage at home and I have multiple sets of bands. Alright, so they're dirt cheap, roughly $35 off of Amazon. So I've kind of decked out my garage here to have multiple sets of bands so I can do a few really cool twists on what are otherwise real straightforward normal band exercises. Alright guys, the first exercise are chest flies. Now I want to kind of explain how I have it set up in my garage and then relate to you guys exactly how you can do it at home. Okay, so remember, I have multiple sets of bands. I got an entire set of bands anchored over here, okay, and I got another entire set of bands anchored over here. All right, so that's about 10 feet apart. Now, the reason I did it is because I get a better stretch and a better feel, okay, when they're spread out, the anchor points, okay. I got 2 distinct anchor points, and the only way to do that is to have 2 completely different sets of bands. Now, some of you guys will be able to replicate that at home if you happen to have a couple of doors or 2 different locations where you can actually anchor the bands, roughly 10 feet apart, okay? Now, if you don't, that's fine, okay? You just put the bands single anchored, 1 set of bands behind you, and you can still do flies, all right? I just happen to think this is more effective if you can do it, all right? So guys, this is fantastic exercise. Now, we're going to be doing 5 upper body exercises today and 2 lower body, all right? So this is obviously an exercise that targets our chest, all right? So, man, I got to step away, obviously, because I want some preload in the bands. At the very back part of the movement, okay, at the end of the range here, I don't want these bands slack, okay? So step away, I got a little tension there, and then I'm literally just going to squeeze together like I'm hugging a big giant 55-gallon barrel, guys. And this is an incredibly effective exercise for targeting your chest, guys. I really, really like this. And the other thing that's cool is I got 2 sets of bands. That's what, 70 bucks? And this very closely replicates what I do at the gym with these big giant cable crossover machines. And guys, those cable crossover machines cost about $10,000 to $15,000, and I can do almost the identical exercises with $70 worth of bands. All right guys, exercise number 2 is another upper body exercise. We're going to be targeting our triceps. Now, this is just called a tricep pushdown, and you only need 1 set of bands for this, okay? Now, I have it anchored literally into a stud in my ceiling, all right? You guys are not going to want to screw into a stud inside your house, so you just put the anchor at the top of a door jamb, okay? Real straightforward, guys. This is another one of those exercises that replicates what you can do at a gym almost identically. And the machine at the gym, man, typically that is part of also a cable crossover machine, which is a $10,000 to $15,000 machine. So guys, you just load up with the correct resistance, all right, to get you to near failure for however many reps your particular workout calls for. And now remember guys, today, this video, this is not a workout video per se, okay? I'm just giving you 7 of my favorite band exercises that you can do at home, and for that matter, anywhere, all right? So If I had to pick 7, these are them. Remember, there's 5 for our upper body because we got lots of different little muscles in the upper body, and it's hard to hit them, okay? All of them at once. So we can really kind of isolate some of these different muscle groups, and that's what this is. This is an isolation movement here. Tricep exercise, you're gonna get a great pump. All right, guys, the third exercise, we're going down lower body here. Remember, squats is the best all-around exercise we can do, especially as we're getting older, guys. And it's because it's a huge compound muscle group or exercise where we're doing lots of different muscles at the same time. Multiple joints are involved. And what does that do? Send signals to our brain to ramp up our production of testosterone. So guys, don't skip legs. Now with bands, all right, it's a little different. There's a couple of ways to do squats here I want to show you. Because our hands are going to be up by our shoulders at the very starting, okay, of the movement, we're already going to have a ton of pre-stretch or pre-tension in those bands. So you're not going to be able to throw 3 or 4 big bands on here, okay? So you're just going to have to experiment. So guys, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this, all right? We're going to stand on them here. And remember, you want to get these handles kind of equal length, okay? Both sides, all right? Now, I can bring it up here and have the bands just on the back side of my arms, okay? Now this feels pretty comfortable with my arms, okay? And I could just go straight up and down, all right? This is our traditional squatting, all right, form here. Go down as far as your body will let you, okay? Man, I like to go pretty nice and deep here. Now if your knees and back start to bother you, all right, you can just do partial reps. But guys, this is one way to do it. Now the other way is to hold the handles in front, okay? All right, so this would be like a front barbell squat. So now, okay, I can go through the same range of motion. And guys, there is no right or wrong way to hold the handles when you're doing squats like this. I want you to experiment and really just listen to your body, see which way feels more effective for you, and that's what I want you to stick with. Okay, exercise number 4, we're going back to our upper body. We're gonna be doing an isolation movement now. We're gonna be focusing on our biceps. Now guys, this is a real effective and really straightforward exercise, man. It doesn't get much easier or more straightforward on any band exercise than curls, okay? Now remember, my hands are just kind of hanging down by the side of my waist here, and I've made sure that the bands are equal length on both sides of my feet. I'm just standing on them, okay? Now, there's already a preload, okay? So if I was down here, I would have no resistance. So standing up straight, I can already feel that there's some resistance there. And then guys, several ways to do curls, okay? I can do them with my palms facing up, all right? And guys, remember, keep those elbows nice and still and to your side, all right? And nice slow tempo. I want you to control that resistance of that band all the way up and all the way down, okay? You can do them with an overhand grip where your palms are facing down. And you can do them with a neutral grip. Your palms are going to be facing in towards your hands, and this is called a hammer grip, okay? All right, 3 different ways to do curls with bands, guys. And kind of like the squats and where you put the bands, whether it's behind your arm or in front of your arm, it really doesn't matter. All 3 of these are really effective, and I actually think, guys, it's good to mix it up. So if you're gonna do, say, 3 sets of curls, do 1 grip with 1 set and then change the grip for all 3 sets. Man, it's a great way to hit those muscle fibers from lots of different angles. Okay guys, exercise number 5, it's another upper body isolation movement, meaning we're only going to be really focusing on one muscle group, okay? I love this exercise. I do this a lot at the gym. I do it with that really expensive $15,000 cable crossover machine, or you can do it with a $35 set of bands, okay? It's called lateral raises, all right? Once again, I'm just going to be standing, and you see how it's not equal length, so I really got to kind of move it back and forth until I get the correct length on both sides. Now guys, lateral raises are basically just what it sounds like. I'm going to take the handles and I'm going to raise them laterally up to about shoulder height. Now a couple things here guys. You notice I'm not going any higher than my head, okay? Or my shoulders even for that matter. You don't have to go all the way up here, okay? Especially as we get older guys. A lot of guys have got kind of achy shoulders, all right? And I've been answering emails from customers who say going up at this high hurts. So if you can only go to here, I'm totally fine with doing partial reps, guys. And if you're only gonna go this high, you can make it feel a lot harder just by going up 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3, down. Just doing those little partial reps like that, you're gonna feel a great burn in your shoulder. Now, if you can get full range of motion, I much prefer that. But guys, see how I have a bend in my elbows, okay? All right, so you don't need to lock your arms straight and do this, okay? So keep a nice little bend in your elbows. And guys, my gosh, shoulders can be hit incredibly hard with bands. Let me tell you, it's gonna actually start burning just as hard as if you were at a really expensive gym. All right guys, the 6th exercise, we're going back down the lower body, and we're gonna be focusing on our glutes and our hamstrings. Now this is called a stiff-legged deadlift. And of all the different band exercises you could possibly do, this one is probably the toughest to set up. Now what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. Just because of the nature of the length of the bands and the fact that our starting point, okay, is going to be way down here. See how there's no resistance in our bands? So let me show you the movement that we're going to be going through here. So stiff-legged deadlift right here, and then I just stand up and look what happens. Oh, no resistance, right? So I come down and up, so nothing's going on. So I need to have a lot of resistance at the bottom of the movement. So the only way to do this is to put your feet close together and then literally loop the bands around each foot, okay? All right, so now, look how short my bands are now. So at the bottom of the movement, I already have resistance. And that's the key, guys. There's no other way to do this exercise. You gotta have resistance at the bottom of the movement. And once again, when I say stiff-legged deadlift, I'm not really stiff-legged. You see how my knees are bent, all right? I'm looking forward, knees are bent, and I just stand up. And then of course, the move is stick your butt out, and then just hinge down, and then back up, okay? Now you're gonna have to experiment with this, guys. And once you figure out how many different bands and what color combinations, okay, you're gonna realize that this is a big, powerful movement, okay? So you're gonna need to have a lot of resistance, okay? More than I have right now. I'm just kind of demonstrating for you guys how to do this. So you're gonna need probably more bands, all right? But the goal is, see how short they are right there? They're gonna have to be that short for you guys to make this exercise effective. But you're gonna need to have more bands because I want you to have more resistance at the very bottom of the movement, all right? So, fantastic exercise, and it hits muscle groups that are really hard to do or hit without, you know, a big expensive gym and all the equipment that goes with that. So hamstrings and glutes, that's the mind-muscle connection I want you guys to think about. All right, the last exercise, number 7 today, we're going back to our upper body. We're going to be doing lat pull downs. Now this is a fantastic exercise for your back, guys. I really enjoy doing back exercises on a regular basis, and it's partly because, guys, even though we can't see it, It's really obvious when you're wearing a shirt. You don't have to go shirtless for a big back to look impressive. And guess what happens if you have a big wide back? It makes your waist look smaller. Okay, no matter how much fat you need to lose around your gut, if you have big wide shoulders, a big wide back, it's gonna make your waist look smaller. All right, this is an exercise, of course, I got this hooked up in my ceiling here. You guys may not have that luxury, so you just put the anchor at the top of a door, okay? Now I like to sit all the way down on my butt, okay? Because it's a big, strong muscle group, which means I want a lot of pre-tension here, guys. All right, so I got all the bands on there, and I get down as deep as I can, and I'm sitting backwards just a little bit. I'm not directly under the anchor, all right? And I'm gonna focus on bringing my elbows back, okay? I'm not really worried about my hands so much as I am thinking about getting my elbows down and back, all right? Bring my elbows down to your side, and then to make it harder, guys, 1, 2, up. 1, 2, up. 1, 2, up. All right, so this is a wonderful exercise. And remember, there's like 17 different muscle groups in your back. So, man, it's an incredibly powerful muscle group. And I don't want you guys to neglect your back. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not important. All right, guys, these are my favorite 7 go-to resistance band exercises. So if you were on a deserted island, okay, you can't remember what to do except for 7, these are the 7 to do. And matter of fact, all of these you can do when you're traveling, okay? So there's not a single exercise here that you can't do with just a single set of $35 resistance bands that you just throw in your suitcase, or you're just hanging out around the house. These are fantastic. And remember, guys, those 7 exercises, we hit every single muscle in our body, all right? We didn't neglect anything. I absolutely love the efficiency and the economy of using bands, especially when a lot of you guys are facing closed gyms. You gotta have a way. You can't stop. And then, guys, come on. It's not gonna happen overnight. Consistency is what it's all about. You have to stick with it and never give up on yourself.